So, you want to hear another story, huh? One where the very fate of Pandora hangs in the balance? If not, too bad, I'm telling you anyway. First, there was the Vault, an alien prison opened with a mystical key. To the warriors who opened it, the Vault was just a container of tentacles and disappointment. They vanished into the wastelands, certain that the Vault held no treasure at all. They were wrong. The Vault's opening triggered the growth of iridium, a priceless alien element. Soon, the rare and valuable mineral emerged all across Pandora. Its appearance attracted many, including the Hyperion Corporation. They came to Pandora to mine iridium and bring order to the savage planet. Through their excavations, Hyperion uncovered evidence of an even greater vault. Their leader vowed to find it, to use its power to civilize the Borderlands, once and for all. But Hyperion weren't the only ones searching for the next vault's alien power. The call of danger and loot is not so easily resisted. Certain warriors came to Pandora in droves to uncover its hidden secrets. Some would call them adventurers. Others call them fools. But I call them Vault Hunters. Our story begins with them, and with a man named Handsome Jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I introduce you to Borderlands 2. My favorite video game ever. There are a lot of things that I like about this game. There are a lot of things that I cannot wait to do in this game. Now that I've finally finished Borderlands 1. And part of the reason why I did Borderlands 1 in the first place was not only because I wanted to play it for the first time and actually do it, but because I wanted to get right into this as soon as I could once I found out about its amazing stuff. All those 7 years ago, in 2012, when this game was released. And let me tell you, I know a lot about this game, and all the stuff about this game that is very interesting and of note, and you'll hear me talk about that quite a lot. See, I'm putting in a ton of research for this project. Not only because of certain things I'm going to be talking about, because I do know a lot about this game, but because there are a lot of things I kind of want to do with this project. Here's the title of Borderlands 2. So, I would get into it right now, but here's the main thing I want to say right now in terms of actual things. These are our four hunters, by the way. Parts are going to be large sessions because of what I'm planning to do for this game, which is all side quests. And there won't be any like cut-off points for outros except for the end of a session, so that's the thing you want to keep in mind. By the way, here's Axton, the Commando. One of the first characters I played in this game because it seemed like an interesting character to play as, and still one of the characters I still stick with. We move introduced to our second Vault Hunter, Fire, the Siren. Also, this music. I'm not sure where I should keep talking about it or whatever. And here is Salvador the Gunzerker. There are interesting things I could say about the Gunzerker, but we'll give it a minute, because we have yet to start making our characters. And there's a point I want to bring up immediately. There's going to be a bunch of post stuff as well. And here is a character, you can actually do this in the game by the way. But you can't do the hologram thing, but here is 0 as a number. Actually, he is the assassin. It's just that we name Joe for the intro. Meanwhile, everyone's here, ready in order to throw things up. Borderlands 2 introduced a ton of things for Borderlands 1. Oh wait, dialogue, sorry.
It's cute that y'all think you're the heroes of this little adventure, but you're not.
See, I falsely assumed that Handsome Jack was in the first game, however, this is where he is first introduced, and Handsome Jack is a pretty good character, let me tell you. So that was our entering cutscene, and now let's talk about the characters, just for a little bit.
As you saw from the introductory cutscene, the 4 Vault Hunters we can play as in Borderlands 2 are Axton, Maya, Salvador, and Zero. New to Borderlands 2, however, was the addition of the 2 DLC Vault Hunters, Gage and Krieg. We'll start with them first. Krieg the Psycho can be considered the melee class of the bunch. This is mainly due to his action skill, Buzz Axe Rampage, which increases your melee damage and movement speed while you use a Buzz Axe. While it's really effective as a melee weapon, you can also throw the axe in instances that you may need to do so. His skill trees are all about improving attributes of Bloodlust stacks, improving melee attacks, and even setting yourself on fire for additional benefits. Krieg is also noticeably heavier than the other Vault Hunters, which has its benefits when using Buzz Axe Rampage. The final point of each skill tree will allow you to explode enemies in a cloud of blood, become a badass mutant psycho, or spawn homing fireballs when attacked. Once you really get to playing Krieg, you'll eventually be saying the golden number, 12%.
Let me loose! Stop talking to me!
Next is Gage the Necromancer. Despite what you may think from the name, Gage is most like a berserker for this game. Her ordered chaos skill tree is all about stacking anarchy. For each stack you obtain, the more damage you'll do and the less accurate you'll become. It may seem like a bad idea, but when you take into account that the base cap of anarchy is 150 stacks, and you can increase that number up to 600 with the right build, shit will become a lot crazier after that. In her best friends forever skill tree, Gage is a skill called Close Enough, which gives her shot a chance to ricochet towards enemies that they miss, which means it can become very useful very quickly. Her third skill tree, Little Big Trouble, is about elemental damage, with shock damage being the main focus. Her action skill has her summon Death Trap, a robot that can do a good number of things like an explosive clap or refill ally shields. The final point of each skill tree will give Death Trap a copy of your shield, charge him with any element you shoot him with, and an extra damaging melee attack using anarchy stacks. If you're looking to speedrun this game, Gage is the current hard choice. Maya the Siren is best described as the element of the support class, focusing on elemental damage and healing the team. Her action skill, Phase Lock, locks an enemy in place, giving anyone free shots at a stationary target. With the right skills, a Phase Locked enemy can regenerate health, deploy a fiery burst, or even have the Phase Lock chain to another enemy after killing the first target. Not only that, but one of Maya's best skills for co-op play is Res, which does as it sounds and revives a down player and fight for your life from a distance, instantly at the cost of a Phase Lock. The final point of each skill tree will let Phase Locked enemy fight for you, throw a slag lock that does constant damage, and causing a bunch of elemental damage with Phase Lock. If you like playing with friends and being a medic, then Maya will be the class for you. Salvador the Gunzerker is the most infamous class of the game. He may not look like it with his stature, but you'd be wrong. His action skill, Gunzerking, allows you to dual wield any 2 weapons at a time and regenerate ammo. 2 pistols? Yes. A sniper rifle and a rocket launcher? Yes. Assault rifle and an SMG? Of course. The main point of Sal is to fire and keep firing. Forever. Along with this, his skill trees focus on improving reloading and gun abilities, extra ammo storage, and keeping himself alive by soaking up damage like a sponge. Sal is easily one of the best classes if you are trying to take on the raid bosses by yourself. The final point of each skill tree will increase damage based on how much you overkill an enemy, massively increase your fire rate, or flip off your enemies and gain damage reduction. Trust me when I say that we'll be talking more about Salvador in the future when applicable. Zero the Assassin is both a long and close range character. The skills in his skill tree can increase his melee and critical damage as well as help improving his action skill. Speaking of which, Deception sends out a decoy and allows you to sneak around undetected by the enemy. The longer you stay in Deception, the more damage you'll do when you either shoot or melee out of it. One of Zero's best skills is called Bore, which allows bullets to pierce enemies and do drastically more damage if each enemy pierced. Some boss enemies can be absolutely shredded due to this skill. The final point of each skill tree will stack critical and sniper rifle damage, throw a kunai while in Deception, and increase time in Deception through melee killing enemies. If you like avoiding confrontation and picking off your foes from a distance, then Zero will be a good choice for you. In the description of each of these videos will be a link to a website called bl2skills.com. This site will allow you to spend as much time as you want looking over everyone's skill trees and see what benefits you gain from what points you put in. Just keep in mind that if you're playing on an earlier version of Borderlands 2, the level cap is 72. This whole playthrough was recorded before editing, so forgive me if anything ends up being redundant in the commentary.
And you may have noticed, hey, I talked about everyone here except for one, which is Axton. Well, there's a bloody good reason I didn't talk about Axton, and that's because I'm choosing Axton for this playthrough, because I know Axton the best and I know what I want to look for. So, different from Borderlands 1, we have head and skin customizations. For every file that you have, you can get everything unlocked. So, for example, I have like Gallon Grunt and Rogue's Renegade on my Axton right now, but those are things that you need to unlock by finding them in the overworld and all that stuff. So I'm going to pick Grizzled Veteran because I like that skin. And it's the same for this too. There's a bunch of different colours you can pick, and I like that greenish beard, so I'm going to pick that for accent. Now for names, I'm just going to go with what I would have done Seamus again for legacy reasons, but since this is the advent of the true power and that Borderlands 3 is actually on the horizon, I'm going to name it after the character I'm most excited to play as in Borderlands 3. Oh, it's all in caps. Dang it, I don't know how to Xbox. Jeez. Listen. Flaxton, okay? Flaxton. I'm interested in seeing how Flack FL4K plays like, and a bunch of other stuff too. So, here we have Flaxton. So now it's time for our introductory cutscene. Just crashed off a train, mind you.
Great. Another deadbolt hunter. Handsome Jack's been busy. Wait a minute. You're not dead! Yes! Now I can get off this glacier. Claptrap, your metaphorical ship has finally come in. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a CL4P TP steward bot, but my friends call me Claptrap. Or they would if any of them were still alive, or had existed in the first place. Oh, I've got something for you. Here, take this echo communicator that I totally didn't loot from one of these corpses. It comes with a Class 12 heads-up display, complete with a mini-map. Now, come, friend. Let's get you inside.
Let us go.
Man, this is great! Now that I've met a mighty vault hunter, I can finally join the resistance to sanctuary, take vengeance against Jack for killing my fireflies, and repair my central processor so I stop thinking out loud.
I wonder what it's like to have a belly button. Yeah, I know.
Explain everything soon, but know this. You're alive for a reason, and I am here to help you.
Thank you. Here's the thing. Golden keys. This is already a new thing that it's introduced. It's that there's a chest in Sanctuary, which is going to be one of our main hubs. And in that chest, you can use golden keys, which you can obtain for various reasons, but there are a bunch of codes that you can find on Gearbox's Twitter or other places like that, where you can just get a bunch of keys in order to open up a chest to get appropriate loot for the level that you're at. But also, since the characters that I have include a bunch of different things, we start off with relics and a bunch of other stuff too. So, here we have the windshield waves, which is where we are right now. Yes, we have, because I'm a member of the Premier Club, characters you create to start with the Vault Hunter's Relic and a collection of Gearbox manufactured guns from the inventory. As well as a surveillance recording personal thing. So that's all the stuff that we have set into types. And we have the Renegade, the Projectile Clairvoyance, and the Varrock. Okay. So here's the thing. There's a thing that's on the Borderlands website right now called the Borderlands VIP program. And that was a thing that you were able to do thanks to a recent wave that only recently got added from the day this was recorded. And I was able to roll a random weapon. And that weapon I apparently got was the Varrock, which is a legendary assault rifle. I suppose I can use this now and save all that stuff for later. We have this legendary relic also because it gives us a 5% chance, increasing chance of enemies dropping rare loot. That is not what it sounds like, and I'll explain in a few moments. It's just a skill tree, by the way. And because we're here, important point, sorry for talking a bunch, but this is the badass rank. It is shared between every character. You can complete these challenges in order to get more badass rank, and they're everywhere, and you can collect a bunch of them without even really doing much, because a lot of the minuscule ones are like elemental stuff, picking up loot, killing enemies, doing a bunch of other stuff like that, certain areas in the overworld and all that stuff. You can basically get bonus stats, everything. You can get a bunch of bonus health, capacity, critical hit damage, stuff like that. I'm not using this for this playthrough because that's a fair advantage for everything. So we'll leave it at that. Now we can finally move with Varrock. This is interesting. I'll explain stuff like the Varrock later on, because, well, you'll probably see it at some point, but hey, I've got major plans for this project. Anytime Claptrap, we can just keep moving on, and that's keep fine by me. Burrock, yeah! Assault rifles, man. Can't believe it. I didn't expect to actually start with this right away, but okay.
Well done. Your ability to walk short distances without dying will be Handsome Jack's downfall.
Yes. Oh, I thought there was some other dialogue here, but I probably forgot.
And open! Just a little added security. Gotta keep those bullywongs at bay, or they'll rip your eyes out.
They will. I've seen it happen sometimes. Oh, what am I looking for? Alright, there, it's this part here. There is a money box over here that you can open to pick up the money from. $1! Yeah, dollars! I love it! Claptrap's place. It's a place for Claptrap to be. All you do is just walk over here and, oh, okay. So Claptrap has some interesting things that he likes to do, I suppose. And, that's a bit TMI. I don't want to know more about that. Okay. Oh, Jesus, it's in here too! Claptrap modesty! Gun-ho! Heavy fire! Grunt! That's lewd. Come on, Claptrap. Alright, we'll just move over to here, where I can talk about something that this game does too. Each of the maps, all around the world, you'll be traveling to a bunch of places, and the majority of each of these places have things that are in them. And this thing specifically is a Vault Hunter's symbol. Different amounts in different areas, but they contribute to badass rank as well. I'm not showing all of these, but there may be some that I do know off the top of my head, and I might show them, whether that is just one. And another thing you want to do before you walk towards Claptrap is you can go over to this table here, press X on it, and get a bunch of free money, because it's a poker table with stuff on it. Good job, friend. You know how to play the video game. At least we'll have a juicy amount of money for us. We got $11 and a bunch of stuff here. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of interesting things that this game brings to the table. We've got a mini-map, which is thank God for that. But hey.
Sorry about the mess. Everything Jack kills, he dumps here. Bandits, Vault Hunters, Claptrap units. If I sound pleased about this, it's only because my programmers made this my default tone of voice. I'm actually quite depressed. Now, the creatures around here are dangerous. None more than this bullymong named Knuckle Tracker. Kills everyone I know. Anywho, I keep a pistol on the captain over there for emergencies. But in here, we should be pretty safe.
God, look at him shrink. Look at this thing. I thought that everything was an engine, so I saw the thing in the background like that. Objective indicator. Fire over the cabinet. Okay.
The gun in the cabinet.
Yeah, I get it. Claptrap, please. Yeah.
Once upon a time, your Vault Hunters changed Pandora forever. But their time has passed. Thanks to Handsome Jack, Pandora needs a new hero. I know that hero is you.
Apart from the excruciating pain, this is great! I've been waiting for a mighty Vault Hunter to help me reach Sanctuary. I will be your wise leader, and you shall be my fearsome minion!
Open the door, buddy. Thank you. Oof! I missed him fall over. I suppose. Guess I need to walk over to there, which is an interesting thing to begin with. It's a fast travel station! You gonna talk, or can I get close to this? Okay. So, there's a bunch of places we can actually go to right here, because, hey, did you know this game got DLC? So there's Hunter's Grotto, Oasis, Rocket Distillery, Wampa Island, Random District Pete, Badass Creator, Badass Institute, The Hollowed Hollow, Marcus's Mercenary Suck, Gluttony Gulch, and Unassuming Docks. I unfortunately am not going to be doing any DLC for this playthrough because I know the main game a lot better, plus I don't want this game to drag on too long because, well, details. Let's talk, Claptrap, after I pick up this money from your kit chest.
Great! Just let me get this door open and we'll hunt ourselves a bullymong.
Sure will.
Onward, seeing I minion. Let me know if I'm gonna run into anything.
You're gonna run into something.
I'll just assume you didn't see that. Even though Knuckle Dragger blindsided me, I know my way around this glacier. I bet you will find my eye in Frostbite Crevasse.
Crevasse. I was gonna break that claptrap. Come on.
Stick close to the robot. He will help you get off this glacier and into the city of Sanctuary. That is the only place you will be safe.
As you may kind of notice, when you run into loose things on the ground, automatic pickup. That's another good feature they've added to Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is just a better game than Borderlands 1. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of fans of Borderlands 1. I know there is. A lot of people consider Borderlands 2 one of the best Borderlands games, and I am one of those people. Okay, sniper rifle time. There's an area waypoint. They're also a good thing. So, as you can see on the minimap, you might not be able to see, it's quite small, but the waypoint is a small area that's outlined in a circle, showing you what exactly, or where exactly you need to be in order to get some waypoints. That would have made those weapon collecting missions in 1 a lot easier. However, that's not the case. So yes, there's very important things to know about a lot of things, but more dialogue. I'm saving my Varuk. Go, Claptrap! Silly thing. So you can melee those piles, but you can also do something else.
Jack's tearing Pandora apart to find the vault. They say Jack's drilling operations are causing those earthquakes. That, or your mom just got out of bed. Zing!
You'll need that funny little robot's help to reach Sanctuary, the last bastion of the resistance against Jack, and the only place you'll be truly safe. Get to Sanctuary.
Alright, gotta get to Sanctuary, that's a good thing to do. Go, Claptrap, go! Okay. Well, time to kill bully monks without Varuk this time. Damn. So, if you could tell, much like Borderlands 1, there are different weapon rarities that you can obtain. Pretty much the same kind of hierarchy from Borderlands 1. When Grandpa burps, Patrick plays. White, green, blue, purple, orange. And orange is what this Varuk is. And all orange weapons, or pretty much most of the orange weapons, have different properties between everything. Some have different special effects, and others have just better stats than a regular weapon. So, oranges are very good to look out for, and obviously they are very rare, so keep an eye out for them.
Oh, Claptrap's such a strong and noble paragon of justice and skill, he can get out himself. Which, most of the time, you would be totally right about. But as it stands right now, I can use some help. And if you don't, I'm gonna have to pull out the big guns. I'll hit you with the silent treatment. See how you like that? Yep. Giving you the silent treatment. Feel the sting of my passive aggression. Being totally silent. I'm not talking to you. Not at all. Silence. Total silence. Many thanks, friend of friends. Onward!
There's some things I'm just too used to just run towards. Sorry.
President of Hyperion. Let me explain how things work here. Vault Hunters show up. Vault Hunter looks for the new vault. Vault Hunter gets killed by me. You see the problem here? You're still alive. So if you could just do me a favor and off yourself, that'd be great. Thanks, Pumpkin.
Thanks, Pumpkin.
And open! Oh, my eyes just switched back on! I see a tough-looking minion and an incredibly handsome robot, which means that whoever has my eye is very close.
Ladies and gentlemen, first boss was blue hair. This is gonna hurt. It's Knuckle Dragger. Okay. Oh man, the crits! This Rook is doing. I'm gonna let him live because. Go wall snickers. Yeah. Damn. I knew what I was getting into when I saw, hey, we're getting a legendary to start off with. But, damn. Alright, Knuckle Dragger. That's what you take. And we level up just like that. Full health and shields automatically, and also increases a bunch of stuff as well.
If you want, return my eye for me. Oh, and I apologize for saying wall stickers. I say that a lot when I'm frightened.
When you're frightened. And he drops a Widowmaker. What a weapon. So now's a good time to talk about the actual relic that we got, the Vault Hunter's relic. Suppose, in a hypothetical situation, that weapons drop rate would be the rarity, like a boss will drop a single type of each weapon. So a white, a green, a blue, a purple, and an orange, for example. Say that the rarities for each of them will be 40, 30, 20, 9, and 1%, respectively. The Vault Hunter's Relic will basically lessen the amount of whites and greens, or maybe just whites, in the drop pool and kind of boost the other one. So you can't just have like an extra 5% on the legendary drop because you can't have over 100% because that'd be silly. So it basically just kind of shovels and rebalances things to make legendaries a bit more common. But what I like to think of the Vault Hunter's Relic as a nice placebo, I just like having it equipped. Even there are decent enough relics to find elsewhere in the game.
Got my eye? Great! Now we're just trying to find someone to put it back into me. Much as I'm sure you'd like to jam your fist into my skull, optic surgery is best left to professionals. My pal Hammerlock in Myersburg can fix me up. Alonzi.
Alonzi. Remember 2012. You're just too good at walking.
Myersburg's on the other side of this Hyperion barge. Let's say we cut through it, chum.
Chum chum chum. Chum chummity.
Ha! This door's Hyperion tech. Child's play. And open!
Ha.
Well, it was nice knowing you. I hear getting eaten alive by bullybogs isn't such a bad way to go.
Let me get that for you.
Thanks.
Queuing phase shift.
Oh, look at her on the monitor. She just space shift all over the place.
You're welcome. Perks of being an artificial intelligence. I'm networked into almost everything on this planet.
It's an amazing dance.
It's a long way to sanctuary. Please take whatever you need for the journey ahead.
We get a weapon chest. Much like Borderlands 1, there are random weapon chests that we can find throughout the world. Okay. Such a soothing sound. So yeah, a bunch of weapon chests can be found throughout the world. And it's almost good because there are some places you can go when you're farming. I'll talk about that later. And there'll be a chest like this around that you can go to, and that's decent enough as well. So this is a coach gun. It has a magazine of 2, and it fires 2 ammo per shot. That means it shoots only once, and all that stuff. And as you can see, on the bottom right there, when I switch weapons, it shows the weapon manufacturer and the legendary rating. That's what kind of tripped me up in the previous game. There was a point where I was tripped on the previous game, and this is where I got it from.
Let me know when you're ready to go meet with Sir Hammerlock, can you?
Sure. Rewards! Blindsided. If you remember Borderlands 1, pretty difficult if you don't do side quests. It's obvious I'm going to be doing side quests here. Alright, he's not going to talk. I thought there was some talking there, but I was wrong.
Like mentioned earlier in the video, we're not quite done here yet. This will be a recap of the episode where I point out interesting information, differing paths, and legendary weaponry. Before we get started, I should better get into the Vault Hunter's Relic just really quickly. There's a linked article on the wiki page for the relic that goes in depth about the gun generation functions in the game. It's a big read, but as I just said, it's really in depth about the whole thing. Also, the relic's effect does stack with multiple players, but it isn't really worth doing so since the effects become negligible. First off, we don't even get into the game and there's already an Easter egg. Usually on the title screen, you're pressing any button will confirm the press start prompt and you just get playing. However, if you put in the Konami code and then press the start button, you unlock an extra option in the options menu. It's for extra whoops. It does nothing. Outside of Claptrap's place, there's another Easter egg. The welcome sign can occasionally show off different messages. Messages like, so alone. Die Clappy. Kill me. I see you. Go away. And I hate you. Next, the basic repeater that you get for completing the My First Gun mission is, believe it or not, a unique weapon. The parts that the weapon is given is always fixed no matter what you do. While it does not have any unique effects and serves the purpose of being the first weapon you use excluding the gearbox weapons, it's still considered unique due to the parts it is built with. Another point you may have heard me mention very briefly is Knuckle Dragger's hair.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first boss was blue hair.
If you watch the cutscene of Knuckle Dragger ripping out Claptrap's eye, you can see that the hair is getting affected by the fire. No biggie, right? Just a normal thing for a game to do for detailing. If you watch the boss cutscene carefully, though, you can notice that when he first jumps up, his hair is still affected by lighting the fire, making his mohawk look a little red. It immediately gets fixed once the camera cuts to the next part of the scene, but it's an interesting quirk of the engine. Or something, I'm not a game designer. There's also another interesting quirk with the door that Claptrap tries to unlock for you. I haven't found any video evidence of this, but according to TV tropes, the early days of the game had a glitch where sometimes the door would actually unlock instead of fail to open. What made it funnier was that Claptrap would still said his following line as if he was just giving up on fighting the eye and accepting his death. The last piece of info I'd like to share this episode is a small feature that's in Claptrap's base. On the table over here is a little car with a skull on it. It's quite scary, isn't it? Even Speedwagon's afraid. And now I'd like to end off by talking about a legendary weapon that you can obtain through one of the enemies in this video. You can get most legendary weapons anywhere because of world drops, but some unique enemies have higher chances of finding a specific weapon. Knuckle Dragger has an increased chance of dropping the Hornet. The Hornet is a dial pistol that is always corrosive, shoots a 6-round burst when aiming down sights, and has an increased chance to corrode enemies, as well as having a splash damage effect. Corrosive damage can be quite useful later on in the game for armored enemies, but you can still use corrosive damage on other enemy types without too much issue. In fact, the Hornet could very well be the first elemental weapon you find if you're lucky enough. I have a story back when I was first playing the game where I was only about level 12 in my original action file. I started a fresh game with Salvador just to try him out and I received the Hornet drop, so I thought, wow, maybe I could get one for my level 12 character. So I went back to the windshield waste for the accident, and on the first try, another Hornet dropped from Knuckle Dragger. It was ridiculous, even if the accent wasn't able to utilize the Hornet, given that it was still a regular leveled weapon. There's not much else you can really say about the Hornet other than it's a decent enough corrosive pistol if you want to have your hands on it, and it will be useful for an enemy coming up later on in a few episodes' time.
I probably just don't play Gage enough, but that line took me off guard. Dude! Shit happens, bro. Shit happens. Nice.
Anyway, that's about it for this episode of Borderlands 2. In the next episode, we head to the southern shelf and fix Claptrap's eye. See you then.